Hey everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today in front of us is a custom Lego build called Winter Grocer from the designer Space Brick. We've got a wonderful holiday season inspired model that somewhat floats between the olden times, like with a horse-drawn cart and a well, and modern times when you take a look at the interior. Before I jump into the finer details of this model, I do want to say that if you wanted to build this yourself, the instructions can be found at our web store, www.brickvault.toys. There you can find the PDF step-by-step building guide, as well as a digital parts list file that makes ordering all the pieces that you're going to need to build this thing much easier. You can click the link in the description below to check out the web store yourself, and any and all support from you guys really helps both us here at the channel and the amazingly talented builders that we work with from all over the world, just like Space Brick. So anyways, if you feel like, you can always share the video, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you want to do, and now let's check out all the details. Now first thing is first, this set is built in a way where it can work as an extension to other Winter Village sets that have come out from Lego, I think starting back in 2009. So the composition of this piece is set up in a similar way to a lot of these other sets, where you have a main build, this being the grocer's house, with an extension of a horse-drawn carriage with a lot of little carts and supplies, with of course a Christmas tree and presents as the other side build. So anyways, that's pretty much it for the basic setup of this mock, and let's start off by looking at the details of the grocer itself. I like that the bottom is built 2 plate layers thick, so you can see a bit of the ground poking through and just a very thin layer of snow, and you can also see that not too much else is covered with snow either. There's just a little bit on the edge of the house and maybe a tiny bit on top of some of the lamps. In one corner we have the well, built from some basic hinge pieces and rounded studs. It's got a nice little shape, and there you can see a bucket resting on the edge, and it's surrounded by some fall colors. Looks like some of the shrubs have been well into their way, losing their leaves, and perhaps maybe this is just the first snowfall of the season. That's sort of the vibe I'm getting here. I also like that the lamp post has 3 lights, differentiates itself a little bit compared to some of the other ones. Personally, I think it looks a lot better. And then I actually just looked this word up, but the edges of stone that you can see on the corner of the grocer's house, those are called keons, and it's a bit of extra detailing that I feel like usually would not have been attributed to a set like this if it had come out as like an original Lego set. That, along with some of the brick pieces poking through the plaster, really give a lot of life to the structure of this place, especially in the front here. And don't tell me how they grow bananas in a climate where it can snow, but there you have it. There's bananas, carrots, and some other leafy greens and such. Higher up, you can see the dark, vibrant blue that really makes this thing pop out, I think. Though it's not a perfectly serene little area, clearly this roof could use some patchwork. There's a little bit of ivy or some kind of blooming plant that's growing almost in a nice little star-shaped pattern on the top. It has sort of a festive feel to it, and I don't know if this is maybe a specific decoration that somebody put up on the roof, or it's just kind of a happy accident that there seems to be a plant growing out of the top of their house. Either way, it does wonders for breaking up the color composition on this piece, and the extended window with the spiked top sticking over the front door I think really fits quite well. Just below that, you can see the banana symbols for the grocer down below, and a simple festive ornament on the handle for the door. Those little micro statuette pieces look nice around the edges there as well. Love the little lamp builds. And now that we've moved on over to the next corner, my favorite bit of detailing here is the color choices for the stairs. Dark orange makes up that sort of lighter, almost nougaty color, and the pearl gold for the banisters really make this area pop quite well. There's some more fall colors littered underneath the stairs, which also makes everything pop quite well. And we also have a vibrant light blue bike just in the corner. Doesn't look like they're going to be doing too much riding now that the snow is starting to come down. And just above there, you can see the door that leads up to the second floor. So might as well turn this whole thing around and check out the inside. And this is definitely my favorite room in the house. It feels so cozy, and I might be a little bit biased as to the hobby of the person living here. Right through the door, I like that he used the little hobbit rings as doorknobs. You can see a trophy shack, maybe some comic books or something behind the shelf there. They're sitting on a dresser, and to the side there is a rocket ship. I'm not gonna say any specific references, but you'll notice a pattern when looking at the rest of the room here. We have a really vibrant carpet. One of the drawers here is open. I can see some coffee cups and a big old parts bin with a few drawers sticking out. Next to that is a very vibrant, colorful build for what I could only assume to be a Ferris wheel of some kind. And my personal favorite touch much is what's decorated on the ceiling. Once again, I'm not saying set numbers, that's for you guys to do in the comments. I'm not going to make it so easy. And I also like the little computer piece that's put right in the corner. This is an absolute hobby room, and personally I find it kind of refreshing that it wasn't just a bedroom with another build for a bed or another build for a toilet. I feel like there's enough of those scenes and enough interior pieces from general Lego sets, and this of course is a bit of a love letter to anybody that's into the hobby. Let's jump on down to the bottom floor. The grocer doesn't just have fresh produce, but there's a little cafe, a couple of croissants hanging out behind the window, and also a refrigerator with several different types of drinks on the inside. Moving to the other corner, we have a tapped keg of some kind, a barrel. I'm gonna say cider is on the inside. You can use your imagination. And taking a look back at the whole thing, it's just so wonderfully comfy on the inside. The bottom floor is very simple, and the top is just so colorful, and probably one of the better interior Lego enthusiast rooms that I have seen. Now all that looks nice and modern. Let's move on over to something that dates this back, I don't know, 100 more years ago. We've got a horse-drawn carriage. Inside is more produce, barrels of water, maybe wine bottles as well, and the horse also has some sacks on the side if you wanted to fill it up with even more pieces. If you look at some of the other Winter Village sets, I think there is one that actually has another horse-drawn carriage. This doesn't stray far at all from the original theme, and at the very end I'll show you guys some minifigure choices I used to populate this whole thing, and I kind of have a funny sort of scenario worked out in my head as to why there still would be horse-drawn carriages in the modern day. But before that, let's check out the build for the Christmas tree. There's so many different types of tree builds. I love organic building in general because it brings out a lot of creativity, and Space Brick has done no different here. It's a surprisingly simple building technique that's used to make these pieces hang off in the angle that they're currently at, and I like the use of purely circular white round pieces to show off just a little bit of the snowfall. We've got an old school magic wand piece that makes up the star on the top, and some very creative little builds for presents at the bottom. Personally, I like the pirate hat on the top of the one present the most, but from afar, when looking at all of these, I think the color composition really works quite well. Now, there's no minifigures specifically assigned to a build like this. I took first just several city figs that I thought would work to kind of make a somewhat of a family, so we can have some people building in the hobby room. Obviously, somebody's got to be manning the cafe downstairs with maybe a customer, and I don't know why, but it really feels like it's got to be somebody old that's actually operating the cart. This is just a basic scene that I set up here, but also I just grabbed these old-timey figs from like the castle theme, because on the outside it almost looks like they could really fit with this. Obviously the horse and carriage fits, and on the side of the building there is a water well, so there's definitely certain things that kind of fit, maybe not the lamplight. But then I started thinking there are people that do live in like a period piece that sort of pretend to be old-timey people, so they kind of dress in the old garb. So anyways, I just kind of set it up with these people just sort of for fun, but really you can choose any types of minifigs to populate this area. Included with this purchase is another parts list with just a bunch of different figs. If you enter it into BrickLink, you'll just see a bunch of different minifigs as possible suggestions. But yeah, that's just something that I think you should choose to sort of make up as you go. Now, I thought I'd finish this review and then realized I skipped the handling section of the video, so let me go through it very, very quickly. Structural builds in general are quite strong. This is no different. There, of course, are some extremities that have the tendency to pop off here and there. The well is attached by I think just one or two studs. The side plating in the front has the tendency to pop up a little bit, so I don't pick up the whole main structure by the edge by the well. Everything else though, pretty darn strong. The roof stays on quite easily, sliding back around to the other side. All the banister stuff for the stairs, everything sticks on really, really strong. Maybe the wing for the that set on the ceiling can come off easily. Everything on the bottom floor is attached by one or two studs intentionally, so you can pop them in and out easily to get minifigs behind the counter. And yeah, it's just a pretty solid model through and through. When checking out the Christmas tree, very, very strong. All the greenery stays on quite easily. The trunk itself is attached by one stud, which would probably be the weakest point. For sure, it would be the weakest point. And you kind of already saw the horse and cart, totally solid builds. The water on the inside of the barrels are not actually studded in. You can see them jiggle around a little bit. All in all, this whole thing's pretty darn solid. At the the end of the day, this is meant to be compatible with Lego playsets, and the designer was definitely conscious of this when putting it together. It's a pretty darn strong model. Now with that, I feel like I've said everything I want to say about this set. If you wanted to build something like this on your own, check us out at www.brickvault.toys. It's all linked in the description below, and if you enjoy our content, you can always like, subscribe, share the video, do whatever you want to do. Let me know what types of custom builds you'd like to see us make in the future, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time at BrickVault.